All right, we are here with Buffalo Cannabis Network. This is Steve McMorrow. I am heading in to go talk with Maggie Shea with Staff Buffalo. Walking down here on Humboldt Main Street downtown. We're going to walk into her office and see what they're all about. All right, hey everyone, this is Steve with Buffalo Cannabis Network. We are once again here with our premier member spotlight. Today we're talking with Maggie Shea of Staff Buffalo. Came in to really see and hear about what prompted Maggie to start Staff Buffalo, the why she is doing what she is doing, and also what she is doing. So let's just dig right in and find out a little bit about Maggie and Staff Buffalo.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start simple. Who are you and what do you do?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Exactly.
So I'm Maggie Shea. I own Staff Buffalo and HR Buffalo and also Canna Workforce Solutions. So it's our SEO brand where we really combine the two to create the whole people solution for the cannabis industry.
What led you to launch Staff Buffalo?
So I thought it was my career was going to be in public accounting. I actually thought it was going to be in math, and then I really diverged. So I was like math, then I went into accounting, then I realized like it was kind of boring, just numbers. So I got into recruiting back in 2010, 2011. And so then after my last company had a bunch of management shifts and stuff, I was like, well, you know what, I can do it better. So I just started Staff Buffalo, built from the ground up, 2 years right out of my house. And then in 2017, we bought this building. So then we have been in here ever since.
Yeah, this is a beautiful building. I was driving up, I couldn't see, I didn't know where I was going, and then all of a sudden I saw the bright pink door. And if
Yep.
you haven't been to any events where Staff Buffalo is, the pink is the motif. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a theme.
Yeah.
So it really stood out, which is great.
We also have like a big steel hot pink buffalo like right above our door.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
So you went from numbers to people. That's
Yeah.
quite, you don't hear about that change. Usually people who are good with numbers, they stay with numbers, but you're able to kind of straddle both. That's
Yeah, and it's the age old, what are you going to be when you grow up? You never really know, so you kind of like walk in the direction of what you're good at. So I was really, really good at math, and I excelled at math. So I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'll do. And then when I was trying to get a co-op, which I went to Northeastern, so you had to get a co-op, a 6-month working job, a real job, you know? And they said that I could only be the checkout girl at Whole Foods, and I was like, but I'm not going to get a degree in math for that for a 6-month, co-op. So I wanted, a more professional co-op, and they didn't really have anything in the insurance industries or anything like that. So I switched to accounting, and that's when I started going into public accounting. So I had my internship with Deloitte in New York City, and then also in the Caribbean. So I lived in Tortola, north there.
Oh, how long did you do that?
6 months. Yeah, just the 6-month co-ops. Yeah.
Did you think about, maybe I could just live here?
Oh,
like,
I
like a
can.
lot of people do? Yeah, could you?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I can. So living on an island in and of itself is difficult. So you definitely get island fever for sure, because
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, I see the same people. We were known as the American girls. Everyone knew our car and stuff, which is kind of creepy if you
Yeah,
think
a little
about
bit,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was really fun because they actually were really well-meaning.
Yeah.
But it was, my retirement plan is to just move back down there and just make breakfast sandwiches for a
Sweet.
few hours a day
Dang.
and really good coffee. It was hard to find breakfast sandwiches and good coffee. That's all I want.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
In the British
coffee.
Virgin
Wow.
Islands, it's British breakfast. So yeah,
Oh, interesting.
there wasn't good coffee and there was not
Okay.
good breakfast sandwiches.
It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
gotta have American breakfast.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm right there with you. It might be a little tough.
Yeah. Until I moved out there, of course.
Yeah,
Then it'll be
exactly.
easy.
Fair enough. There's business right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Don't steal it on me.
No, I
It's
won't.
my retirement.
No, I'll just come down here and enjoy it. Do that.
Exactly. I'll make you a nice breakfast sandwich with a hot coffee.
Yeah, I'm all for it. But for people who don't know, just give an overview of basically what does, Staff Buffalo do.
Yeah, so I'm not very creative with names. So Staff Buffalo, we do staffing in Buffalo, in the Western New York area. So it's pretty simple. But what we do is we do a few different things. So we have kind of our high level staffing, our executive staffing, so like management and above, really anything. So operations, accounting, finance, really any hard to find person for any like specific skill set is really what we go after from like the third party, like headhunting recruiting side. And then we have our talent optimization, and that's our solution to like temp. So whenever people want like a temp to perm option, we always say like, okay, but you're really limiting your pool. You're not getting the best person to really drive your company forward. So instead, we understand that there's, cost saving things that people need to do. So what we did is we come in, we actually optimize the whole recruiting process. So we build it out for organizations, and then we act as their recruiter. So we white label as a recruiter, and we say, hey, we're with ABC company. Would you like to work here? And then we pitch it, we bring people in, and then we actually like hire them on. So we do their onboarding, which segues into our HR Buffalo, where we also do fractional HR. So once people are in an organization, you need HR surrounding it, but not everyone needs a whole HR person, or they might be a little bit scared of an HR person. Well, we come in and we make sure that everything is ticked and tied, everything's good to go, and set up. So we have Staff Buffalo, which does the staffing and the recruiting, and then we have HR Buffalo for once people get in. So it's kind of the whole people side of the business.
Oh, very nice. So you really, offer a whole service of, lots of onboarding and managing those people as well for a company that might not want the full
And that's our
HR
like
department.
fractional capacity, So some people have an HR department, but a lot of HR people don't like recruiting. So then they might just use our fractional talent optimization, and vice versa. They might have someone that's really great at recruiting people, but they might not be able to get those people to stay, and they might not know why. And then we can go in and help them internally figure out what's going on and really fix it so that they can have people really stick and stay, which is great.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, great. So how did you get into the cannabis industry?
I don't really know exactly how I did. It's one of those things where it almost finds you.
Yeah.
I remember the first time when I really saw like the actual beauty of the plant was when my dog was aging. He's a 155-pound dog, so huge, massive dog, right? So he had like huge pain on his hips and everything like that, and I started just giving him some cannabis. And then he would get up the stairs, he was eating again, drinking again, like playing with my kids. So it was like so eye-opening how a dog who can't tell you like, oh yeah, that makes me feel good, all of a sudden can show you how good he felt. So when I first saw that, I was like, wow, that's like a miracle plant. And that's really what like took me from it being like the gateway drug, the bad drug, to being like, wholly medicinal. Let's go after this thing. Like this has like so many wonderful things that we really haven't had access to.
So it was like CBD dog treats or something?
No.
You were.
My brother was making it.
Oh, okay, heard. Okay.
Sorry, Pat.
Okay, very cool. But
so
it
he was
helped the
making
dog.
like capsules, So he made like little capsules for my dog, and then so it was just made out of coconut oil, and so then I would just give him his coconut oil, and he was great.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and
That's
really
great.
it went from, really we're talking about putting him down to he lasted an extra 2 years and really, really great. Like he was happy, which was all the difference in the world.
That's interesting.
So.
You don't hear many people, a lot of people say they got into it medicinally. Through themselves or a family member or a friend. But this is the first time I've heard about it being through a pet, kind of being the first inroad into cannabis.
Because you can hear people tell you how they feel every time about
Right.
it, and you can interpret it any way you want. Like, okay, they just want to get high or whatever. But when you actually see the medicinal benefits and how it like works, you're like, wow, that's really wild.
Yeah,
so,
it makes you take a step back.
It
right?
does, it does. And you think about like, it was giving him everything, everything that the doggy painkillers and the doggy everything, and that was the only thing that really helped him.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, very interesting. So then you saw that, kind of did a change like most of us do who grew up in the dairy.
Well, then I was curious, and I went the medicinal route, and I got my medicinal cannabis, and I realized that it really does help.
And then you said, okay, well, I can service them. I can service people in this industry just like any other normal business.
So because it's a brand new industry, you don't know what you don't know. And especially you have a lot of people that may have had certain, they might have had retail organizations before, and that is huge. Like that is already getting them so much further down the way. But a lot of people don't have any hiring experience, they don't have any kind of management experience, anything like that. And you already have to follow so many rules to be in the cannabis industry, so we just add that extra, like, hey, we got you. Like, for example, there's this whole new retail act for any, in New York State, for any retail organization that doesn't serve food for consumption on site for people with 10 and above. So now you have to actually do this, like it's a Workers Protection Act, and now every retail organization with over 10 people has to actually implement those policies and train their people on it, which is a lot of dispensaries and a lot of organizations that would qualify. So that just came into effect June 5th. So people already have to be following it, but yet there's not too much guidance around it yet.
So you could help them with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the stuff that we're following, and like we follow all of that guidance anyways for all of our organization, all of our industries that we're working with. So once again, it's like you don't have to specialize in that because we do, and that's how we assist the cannabis industry and any other industry really.
Okay, so that's going to be what kind of a differentiator between any other industry and the kind of the cannabis industry when you're talking about staffing and things like that? Is that kind of like the main?
Yeah, so I mean, in my humble opinion, staffing for the cannabis industry is nothing different than staffing for anything else. There's a few more guidelines, there's a few more things that you kind of have to snip out and like look for, but overall transferable skills are transferable skills. So if you find the right people, you find the right motivations, and you find the right skill set, then wonderful, then you have a great match.
Yeah, that makes sense. So if you were talking to any cannabis companies or cannabis related companies, what are some of the things that you would say, to look out for? This is what we can help with. What is the message that you'd like to give to them?
So the first message is actually create your own message. So there's a dozen dispensaries, nearby you. There's a bunch of processing, there's any kind of farm. So what makes you different? What sets you apart? You don't want just your location, your convenience of location to be what makes people want to work for you. You want to actually build a culture surrounding what your values are and what you actually want to do for your employees. So the more that you can be firm in what you actually want to provide and what you are as an organization, you can attract the right people. So that's step number one, is figure out who you are. And then once you figure out who you are, then you can figure out who you want to attract. And then you kind of build everything surrounding that. So you build up your website, you build up the job descriptions. The job descriptions have to speak to the people. It actually needs to be like, okay, this is the type of person that would really be successful here. Is that you? Is it speaking to you? Yeah. And then that's like just basically the element of attraction. So you're attracting the right people to your organization because you're really thoughtful about it. Now, once you attract the right people, they tend to stick longer because they want to be there. You want them there, they want to be there, and everything is cohesive. It's going to last a lot longer. So really looking for that. Another thing is you have to look for someone that is not just, doesn't just enjoy the plant, but enjoys learning about it, enjoys communicating that to people. So in general, it's like, well, what have you done outside of smoking the plant that really drives you into this industry? So if they're at NTRIPC, taking one of the online courses, or going in for the culinary school, or went to a few events, or, is at your events, like anything like that, where they're actually like trying to engage with the community and learn from it, they could take a Coursera. Like, it really doesn't matter as long as they're learning and show an investment in learning in their own time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, that you'd want to see somebody who's yearning to learn more, that sees that it's a bigger thing than just getting high or something. I mean, for anybody who wants to just enjoy it, totally fine. Yeah. But yeah, that next level is somebody who's really realizes that it's something a lot more, can offer a lot more, and getting in the right mindset for a company that makes sense.
Like, so, I like music, but I can't be in a band.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, okay, so when you're trying to help a company with staffing, do you also have a pool of people that you could pull from?
Yeah.
That are, let's say, they're looking for a job in the industry. Are they able to sign up with you? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so that's more of like our headhunting side. So it's more of our true recruiting side, where we would more talk to like the directors of operation, or someone that might be coming, we call them boomerangs, a boomerang from Colorado, a boomerang from California, right?
Yep.
And so you go away, you learn everything, and then you come back. So much value comes out of that when you bring all of that information back to New York State, because we don't have all of that information yet. So the more that people boomerang back, the more that people bring industry knowledge, the better. So when we identify people like that more on the headhunting side, and then as we're setting up more of, like, say you have retail, say you have production workers, anything like that, that's more to the talent optimization. So that's where we build out that whole communication to your potential employees. employees. And that's when we put together, a welcome email saying like, hey, this preps you for your first day. Hey, this is your first day. Here, we're gonna help you with your onboarding. We're gonna do your training. We're gonna get everything set up. So we really take that whole process off of the owner's plate.
Okay.
And it's really beneficial because then they can just pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm kind of stressed about this. What have you seen, at the past organizations you've worked with? And it's really helpful because we have the industry knowledge plus all the, 10 years of recruiting and HR experience.
Okay. So you help the owners fill roles, and then you can also help people find roles.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, it's matchmaking. So of course, like people do get frustrated because they may want to work in the industry, but once again, you have to really set yourself apart. Every time we post, say if we post a bud tender job, we're gonna get 500 applications.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and we're gonna have to comb through and within, an hour or two, get through 400 of them and decline 400 of them. Of course, you do it in a nice way. Once again, as we're acting like the organizations, white labeling is them. We want to make sure that even a decline is a very positive experience. But then you have to really filter through those, say, 175 people where you're really going through and saying like, yay or nay. So when you're actually building your resume, like I said, you can have all of your transferable skills. That makes such a load of difference because there are different jobs for every single bit of the industry that you've done in a normal job, essentially. So you need operations, you need accounting, you need human resources, you need sales, you need customer service, you need all of that kind of stuff. And so you take your transferable skills, but then also add in whatever cannabis component. Anything on there specifically for people looking for jobs. Never put your legacy experience as a job, put it as a hobby or other. Because technically, if it's a job, you should have received income, and technically, then you should be reporting taxes, technically, correct? So put that as a hobby, leave that in there, but show your experience as well. So you can put other experience, you can put hobbies, whatever you want, but you don't want to say like, hey, I made income from it. Look at me, tax man.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, good call on that one. For sure. So basically, if people do want to connect with you, if businesses or people that are looking for jobs, what are some of the best ways to do so?
Yeah, so we have very active social media. We also have our Pain Point podcast on any of the podcast, anything really. So look us up, staffbuffalo.com, hrbuffalo.com, cannaworkforcesolutions.com. But really, if you want the bulk of what we do, it's going to be on HR Buffalo and Staff Buffalo. Like I said, Canna Workforce Solutions is more our SEO brand, so it doesn't get shut down.
No, I deal with that with Buffalo Cannabis Network, so very familiar with that.
It gets shut down so often, and we couldn't really have our main brands get shut down all of the time. So it's a different way to service the industry. Yeah,
and if you see some events, whether it's BCN events or some of the NCCC events and other things, look for the pink lighters.
Oh yeah, we have the best big hot pink Canna Workforce Solutions lighters.
I got a couple of them.
Yes, I have them all over the place. They're everybody's favorite. You can really get it in the bottom of candles as well.
Exactly. They're those nice ones. So at the end of the day, why did you decide to get involved in BCN?
Oh, well, I just really like what you guys are doing. So I like specifically that the businesses are coming together as a community within the industry. So once again, you're pulling people that are ancillary businesses that can actually help cannabis industries as well, or cannabis companies as well. So it's a little bit of everything. So first of all, it's just fun. It's fun to go to the different events. It's fun you just have great people that are on your committees, that are working with you. So yeah, it's just a great experience overall, and I like that you're adding value back to the business community.
Yeah, it takes a village, right? The old saying for a lot of things, but we're trying to build community, and people like you are part of as part of the community that everybody can kind of pull from. So trying to get businesses like yours as well as many others to just come together and talk to one another as people is really a big thing. So Staff Buffalo is a great addition to the community, so we really appreciate that. If anybody wants to go on and learn more about those, go to buffalocannabisnetwork.com. Same thing with our social media. If it's not taken down, it's Buffalo Cannabis Network and Instagram. Same thing with Facebook. So please reach out if you have any questions about membership. Maggie, thank you again so much for doing this. We wanted to kind of get to know you as you became a member with us. And just kind of learn, and so therefore you can speak to a lot of other people that might have questions about what Staff Buffalo can do for them.
Feel free to email me too. Maggie at staffbuffalo.com, and I'll definitely shoot you my bookings link and we can set up a time.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.